Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Government response to concerns about latest batch of Haitian refugees. School broadens curriculum to transform students' behavior. And later in sports, GFF and reggae girls hoping to end impasse this week. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shimela Pullen. Here are the details. The government has responded to concerns about the treatment of Haitian refugees seeking asylum in Jamaica. Attorney and founder of human rights group Freedom Imaginaries, Melania Lane, has been advocating for the Haitians who recently landed in the country to stay. However, she's been met with several roadblocks.
A lot of safety concerns. Human rights defenders across the world face these similar issues. I said that to the soldiers who carried AR-15 type weapons. And I said, listen, I've never been so close to such heavy weapons before. And you have to understand that we have to be on the same side as this. Let us disagree on how we see the law, but under no circumstance can you take actions to make me feel intimidated. And I've been receiving, messages, just this morning, the latest message is that I'm a traitor and that this should be done to me. Understand the message that I'm bringing. I'm just asking for a conversation, and I'm just asking for the due process rights that I would ask for every single Jamaican.
Speaking on Power 106 this morning, she continues to maintain that the government is not following due process.
Proposing to the government is that there is a way for us to address this that upholds the rule of law, that is rooted in solidarity, international solidarity, where we're working with governments across the region. We're working with the United Nations to find a durable solution to this issue that involves both an appreciation of the concerns that I know the government has, of course, and I understand the concerns that Jamaicans have. But, as I keep saying, we have to ask, who are we as Jamaicans, as a nation?
Meanwhile, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Strang says due process was followed in the case of the Haitian refugees. Dr. Chang maintains the government is doing everything it can for Haiti and that Jamaica is not breaking the law. To other news now, not adequate. That's the view of the Chief Justice on the court facilities in St. James. As O'Shane Masters reports, Mr. Sykes believes the facilities have outgrown their present locations.
For a court complex for the parish of St. James. The call comes from Chief Justice Brian Sykes, who was speaking at the annual awards function of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce at the weekend. He says there are a number of issues which plagues the various court locations in the parish of St. James. For the parish court, he says due to its location near a gully, whenever there is a heavy downpour or prolonged rains, the drain overflows its banks and it settles in the courtyard. As for the other courts, he says those locations too are not appropriate, chief among them the family court.
The family court is housed in a plaza that was supposed to be temporary accommodation. The temporary accommodation has become 30 years. The 18 and 19-year-olds who were employed in the court then have now reached retirement age.
It's why he has tasked the business community through the chamber to pressure the government for the much-needed infrastructural developments.
About the construction of the court complex, to have a proper court where our citizens can come and do business in a dignified way.
Mr. Sykes further noted a challenge which is affecting court proceedings, especially along the western belt of the island, that of not having jurors from the hotel and financial sectors.
When the police happen to find someone from middle management, from the hotel, financial sector and other sectors to serve, you know what happens? A letter comes in to say, Mr. John Brown is desirous of serving, and he takes his civic responsibility very seriously. However, our company is engaged in whatever the critical exercise is, and so he won't be available at the time that the person is always the duration of the circuit.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
A South Manchester school is making adjustments to its curriculum to help address behavioral issues. Administrators at Cross Keys High are adding more vocational subjects with hopes of not only providing more opportunities for the students, but also to help transform behaviors. Karen Simpson tells us more.
Over the years, students at the Cross Keys High School in southern Manchester have been grappling with behavioral issues. The school says it has received many of the underperforming students from the primary exit profile examinations each year, but it has been making strides with a 30% improvement in CSEC and K passes in mathematics and English. The school's Dean of Discipline, Samuel Smalling, says the school is now broadening its curriculum offers to the students so they too can excel. Mr. Smalling was speaking at the handing over ceremony of 6 pieces of equipment for the school's building department. He says if students are more engaged in vocational subjects, there will be less time to idle, resulting in more productive use of their time.
And that's a part of the reason why we took this initiative to ensure that we could be a part of this process. Because the more engaged our students are, the better it is in terms of their behavior transformation. So we are trusting that as a result of these new equipment to the Cross Keys High School, we will be able to see behavior transformation takes place, no matter how small it is.
Acting Principal Lorraine Henningham says the school has been partnering with NCTVET to deliver subjects as it expands its curriculum to include more project-based learning activities.
Our students are mostly hands-on students. So the students who come to us, we have to ensure that we have the resources to have them engage and not having them sitting around when they need to be active participants in the lessons. And so we are happy today to have these machines, because from this, our students now will become more engaged. The machines that we have before, they have now become dysfunctional. Many of them aren't working. So our students have been here and they are not able to participate fully in the lessons that are being done by the teachers in this department.
Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
One educator is calling on institutions to quickly adapt to the government science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM education program. This as he believes the program is paving the way for Jamaicans. The details from O'Shane Masters.
Efficient and innovative. That's our president of the College of Agriculture, Science and Education case, Dr. Derek Deslandes, is describing the STEM education program. He was speaking at a recent science and technology symposium at the institution.
They have a program that cultivates and within 2 minutes of the meeting is finished. The minutes of the meetings are ready to be sent out. That's efficiency. That's STEM. So I encourage you today to listen, not just to TikTok and the excitement of TikTok and the pleasure of TikTok, but understand the underlying processes that is driving TikTok.
Dr. Deslandes revealed that CASE recently acquired robotics with plans to obtain other advanced tools.
We have drones that spray fields and spread fertilizer. And all you do is program the drone, send it up in the air, and it does everything. And when it's short of the battery, it comes back to base to be recharged.
He appealed to students to become more open-minded to learning about the processes of STEM, as he believes the country's future rests in their hands.
And if you, as the next generation, don't embrace this, then you're condemning Jamaicans to the dark age. Those are not putting it on you, right? Because I tell you, I'm over the hill, so I don't can't blame you so much after this. You are the future. And if you grasp it, there's nothing to prevent this country from really becoming great.
Earlier this year, the Education and Youth Ministry introduced STEM education to enhance students' learning experiences. The shift in methodology came as the government places greater focus on making Jamaica the STEM center of the Caribbean in alignment with global technological advancements. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. The Jamaica Pig Farmers Association, JPFA, is hoping to double local pork consumption over the next 3 years. Speaking on Smile Jamaica Tuesday, the association's president, Hanif Brown, says this will be done through its pork consumption campaign. He says in order to keep the sector sustainable, pork consumption must improve.
This would no doubt enhance the entire value chain, the entire industry. Feed production would go up, more farmers, more jobs. It's an industry that currently accounts for 22,000 people being employed.
Wow. Wow. Double the consumption within 3 to 5 years. Is that doable, Sir Hanif? It sounds like a stretch target.
Okay, so all our surrounding countries, our neighbors, had this same exact problem probably a decade and a half ago. Mm-hmm. Colombia, for example, was exactly where we were in 2011 at they were actually at 4.6 through a proper marketing campaign, which is basically geared to educate consumers that pork definitely is a nutritional powerhouse.
Reconstruction work on the Troy Bridge in Trelawney is to begin soon. The bridge collapsed during Tropical Storm Grace in 2021. NWA Communications Manager Stephen Shaw provided the update on Power 106 Morning Agenda Tuesday.
We have done the earthworks in a borehole test. We have done the design. We have put together a bill of quantities. We have gone through the process at the Ministry of Finance to get the project approved. Same has been done, and we are now in the process, or in the position, to move to have a contract procured for works to be done.
Mr. Shaw says once the procurement phase is done, the project should take 12 months to be completed.
That will be a two-lane triple cell structure with sidewalks for pedestrians. It will be founded on piles, and we are going to. So in a sense, we are going to be demolishing that old single-lane structure, and we are going to be putting up a new two-lane bridge with pedestrian facilities.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
iCreate is to sell 30% of its stake in digital display advertising firm visualvibe.com. The company has entered into the agreement for sale with what it described as a strategic investment group led by Anthony Dunn. iCreate says with this strategic investment, all obligations due and owing to the original owners of Visual Vibe have been addressed. The company says once all conditions of a deal are satisfied, Mr. Dunn will be appointed to the board of directors of Visual Vibe and will play a leading role in spearheading strategic plans. iCreate's executive chairman Tyrone Wilson says the infusion of funds from the strategic group is timely as it now paves the way for the accelerated growth of Visual Vibe. Further afield, a surprise shakeup in the airline industry. Alaska Airlines announced it has reached an agreement to buy Hawaiian Airlines for $1.9 billion. Alaska's CEO announced Sunday the merger will preserve both brands. Hawaiian Airlines began operations 95 years ago. The boards of both companies have agreed on the deal, and it is expected to close in the next 12 to 18 months. The combined organization will be based in Seattle, but Alaska Airlines says it will establish a major hub in Honolulu. It will provide service to 138 destinations, including non-stop flights to 29 international cities in Asia and Australia. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, an American woman vacationing in the Bahamas was killed in a shark attack on Monday. The 44-year-old woman was paddleboarding with a male relative near a beach resort in New Providence when she was bitten.
CPR was administered to the victim,
However, she suffered serious injuries to the right side of her body, including the right hip region and also her right upper limb.
On the international scene, at least 6 people were killed in southern India following heavy rainfall and gusty winds triggered by Cyclone Michong. A 4-year-old boy is among those killed. Parts of the state are expected to be pelted with more rain over the next 24 hours. At least 8,000 people have already been evacuated. And the death toll from a volcanic eruption in Indonesia has risen to 22 after rescuers found 9 more bodies. This after an initial report revealed that 11 hikers died and 12 others were missing. Frequent volcanic eruptions have hampered rescue efforts, but officials say searches will continue into Saturday as 1 person remains unaccounted for. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Jermaine Brown.
Sleep peacefully on your period with Always Night.
Thank you, Jermaine. And that's the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.